Hey, good morning. This is Dr. Mark Cooper again, and today I'm continuing on my series of therapeutic uses of essential oils. Last week I talked about peppermint oil. This week I'm going to talk about tea tree oil and some of the things that might be of benefit. But first I want to talk about a few cautions. You really shouldn't use this on children under 5 years old, and you shouldn't put it in your eyes or ears unless you know what you're doing, and there's a way to do it in the ears that's safe, but with the eye, you leave it off the eyes. And after you always use an essential oil, you should wash your hands so you don't accidentally get it where you don't want it to be placed. Okay, but one of the benefits of tea tree oil is that it's anesthetic, antiseptic, and anesthetic. It actually helps with the sting and the itching of bug bites, and from mosquitoes to bee stings. So you can just, and you in that case you can actually put it on straight and rub it in and see how that works. But you ought to test the place first and just make sure you're not allergic to it. That's one idea. The second one is I use it in a neti pot. And a neti pot is a little tiny, looks like a teapot, and I use it with sea salt. So I put a half a teaspoon of sea salt and then fill the neti pot up with distilled water or warm water that I've filtered. And then I put 2 drops of tea tree oil in that, let it sit for a second, and then use that as a nasal rinse. And that's been very helpful to help prevent colds and viruses throughout the winter months. So that's another strategy. And maybe in a later video, I'll just actually demonstrate all that to you. Another strategy for tea tree oil is to use it with like a dental floss, like this. So what I do with this is that I put some of the tea tree oil on my finger and dab some tea tree oil on that, and then use that to clean my teeth with. And it's especially helpful for areas where you have a potential for infection. And so it's a way of helping get rid of infections out between your teeth and cleaning the teeth. But again, you need to make sure you're not allergic to it before you do that. And also, if you do have a problem, you need to get to your dentist, of course. But this may be helpful because it actually works kind of as a numbing agent as well. Not as strong as clove oil, but it does help that. And it also works as an antibacterial. So it really works pretty good for that strategy. Another one that I've used recently, I had a bad episode of shingles, and so I would put this on the shingles breakouts along with some lavender oil, which helps the itching, but this helps kind of keep the possibility of secondary infections from coming. And I never did have any secondary infections, and the shingles healed up okay. But it's not a direct treatment for the shingles, but it does help some of the itching and the burning and keeping down the secondary infections that might occur. Another one I use this for is with athlete's foot. This is especially helpful for that. And the way you do that is you just drop it straight between your toes after you take a shower and before you put your socks on. And you can do that night and day, twice a day until it clears up. I haven't found it 100% effective for toenail fungus. It's just that may need some additional things. This is good for that, but it hasn't cured it like it has the athlete's foot, and it's been very helpful for that. Another idea for this tea tree oil, another use of it, therapeutic use of it, is to put it in your shampoo. And this is especially helpful for dandruff and for alopecia. It helps with that, and it helps with itching in your skin. And sometimes there's some microscopic parasites that are in the scalp that cause some of those problems, and this has been helpful. I've seen this help some people grow their hair back, but not all. But again, you need to look at what the underlying cause of that is. But these are some of the therapeutic uses of tea tree oil that I've used, that I found to be helpful, and I hope this can be used for you. But again, keep it out of your eyes, keep it out of your nose, unless you mix it with something in a very diluted form. But there is another way. There's another thing that helps, and this comes from Edward Casey's treatment for sinus problems. And you can use it this way in your ears, but you've got to be very careful. You use castor oil on a Q-tip first and coat the inner ear with castor oil first. You never put this in your ear direct. Then you can put 1 drop on that Q-tip and rub it inside your ear. And that kind of helps you get over a cold and virus faster. And if you have swimmer's ears or anything like that, where there's a fungal infection in the ear, that could help that as well. But again, never put it in there directly. And you got to pay attention to that one because it can burn. If it is, you just need to put extra castor oil in your ear or olive oil if you don't have that. All right. Hope that's been helpful to you. This is Dr. Mark Cooper. I'll see you at another time.